So recently, there's been a lot of discussion and controversy around Spider-Man 2, with the MJ face model, with the side missions. There's just been a lot of controversy, a lot of people calling it woke. And I played the game, I platinumed it even. Personally, I don't think it's woke. There's a few things in there, but overall, I really like the game. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I still really like it. And I want to make a review on it too, so that might come out at some point. But I certainly have my likes and dislikes about it, my concerns for the future. But the Spider-Man 2 director recently commented on the MJ missions and the inclusion of them in this game. This has been a big topic of discussion for the Spider-Man video game series since the first game. Most people, I think, didn't like them. I personally actually didn't mind them. I thought they were fine. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. I just didn't mind them at all. But in this one, I did have a problem with them, although I did think they were more fun than the last one, certainly. But she was just too OP. She was doing things that she should not be able to do. She's just supposed to be Peter's girlfriend. That's really all she's supposed to be. And they've turned her into something she's really not. And the Spider-Man 2 director says, quote, "If she's a little OP, I don't give a shit. She's fine. I don't care." Now, we're going to read some of this article and put it in context, but I don't think it makes it much better. But then I want to talk about other game producers for the Like a Dragon or Yakuza series. They also said they don't listen to the fans, specifically Western ones, but it's for completely different reasons. I'm going to tell you why the reasons they state are much more valid than the reasons the director for Spider-Man 2 states. So let's get into this article from IGN. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has seen critical and fan acclaim in the week since its release. But one element that hasn't been universally beloved is the return of Mary Jane's stealth missions from the first game. Now, calling them stealth missions, I guess it's fair, but the big issue for me with these in this game is that that's not what they purely are. They're her sometimes engaging in combat with a stun gun or sonic gun or something like that. I don't remember what it's called at the end. And there will be some spoilers probably for Spider-Man 2 in here, so warning you now. But that was the big issue. She was engaging in combat if you got caught or decided to do so. In the first game, you get caught, you're screwed. You have to restart or start from a checkpoint. They try to explain it away by saying that she was trained by Sable a bit when she was in Symkaria between the first game and this game. But even with that training, it's not very much at all. She's going up against hunters and symbiotes. Like, that's ridiculous. But back to this article. While these missions were almost universally hated in Marvel's Spider-Man, some tweaks to the formula have made them far more divisive in Spider-Man 2. And we recently spoke to one of the creative directors on Spider-Man 2 to learn exactly why they're in the game at all. So why have these missions been upgraded from loathed to merely divisive? Well, one big reason is that MJ is OP now. Her stun gun makes short work of her stun gun makes short work of enemies that take Peter and Miles multiple hits to beat them up. For some, this change of pace is awesome, even John Wick-like. For others, it sucks the energy out of a game that's otherwise fast-paced and wide open. I wouldn't even say for some it's John Wick-like, I'd say for most, but some like it, some don't. Recently, we brought Insomniac's senior creative director Brian Intihar, if I'm saying that correctly, onto a spoiler-packed episode of Beyond the Talk about everything Spider-Man 2. He had plenty to say about the studio's decision for MJ, and they also warn for spoilers. According to Intihar, Insomniac was well aware that MJ's missions hadn't been anyone's favorite bit of the first Spider-Man, and they did ponder foregoing them entirely in the sequel, but instead, the team went a different direction. We had two choices. We could say, alright, we'll make it easy and just not do it, and everybody would go, great, no MJ missions. Or we could say, hey, we've talked about showing the world from all different angles. We're going to make her moments better. We're going to take on the challenge. We're going to make people like playing as her. We pick and choose our spots. We knew we had to make her more of a proactive, capable person. And if she's a little OP, I don't give a shit. She's fine. I don't care. My first question here is, why did you have to make her a proactive, capable person? Why is that something you felt the need to do? Like I said earlier, MJ is basically just supposed to be Peter's girlfriend. Peter's hot girlfriend. That's why that face model thing was such a controversy, and I do agree with that. Or I should say still is. She's supposed to be the hot girlfriend, and Peter's supposed to be the nerd that got the hot girl. And instead, it's basically reversed. It just fits in with the trend of toning down female characters' looks to make them more relatable, because attractive women are apparently unrealistic now. Even though you could probably find one at McDonald's. It's insane. But they continue to do it, and it certainly seems like they're doing it here. But why do you have to make her a proactive, capable person? Is my first question here. And they put that statement in big, red writing, and continue on saying, so Insomniac committed, believing in the importance of MJ showing as a capable hero. Why is that important? Why not just stick to what we know, we've known for decades? But you have to be different, you have to be progressive. That's what it's all about, is being progressive. And again, I didn't really care about them in the first game. Didn't mind them at all. And I really like this game as well, but this whole thing is just ridiculous. Even if she didn't have powers, Intihar says that was even part of the motivation to include her as a playable character in the final mission, despite MJ not being in the original plan. They even briefly toyed with letting players control MJ riding her bike, though that was ultimately scrapped to make room for other content. That was a stupid decision, putting an MJ mission at the end of the game there. But you want to fight Venom as mainly Spider-Man, but I guess Miles too if you're into Miles. You don't want to play as MJ stealthing around or shooting symbiotes. You want to play as Spider-Man. It's ridiculous design. They said earlier they just decided to do these missions instead of just scrapping them completely, and they knew that for the most part people hated them in the first game, or just didn't like them, but instead of listening to most people, they decided to make it even more divisive and disappoint even more fans. The thinking on these people is so weird. And this guy says they felt like they needed to do it. They had to make her a capable hero. So it's just all about brownie points for them. It's not about making the best decision, it's about making the right decision, if you know what I mean. Then this next line right here, it's not a quote, but they say, and that need to show her as a capable hero was also part of the reason MJ got her incredibly powerful stun gun. That's also another complaint. He said in Spider-Man 1 there was really early, super early in development, we never made it, but it was part of story treatment where Pete was going to be injured and he could barely walk, Intihar recalls. She was going to actually try to get him to safety, and she was going to grab one of his web shooters and she was going to put it on, actually fire at enemies that were trying to get to them, but that never happens. I think that's where the web shooter idea came from, because I was like, let's give her the ability to stun enemies in the first mission. And that's basically it. They mentioned that stun gun, it is definitely OP. It one-shots enemies. The sonic gun or whatever it is, for the symbiotes in the last mission, that one takes a few shots, but it's also symbiotes. Meanwhile, it takes many more hits to take them down as Peter and Miles. So in my opinion, they just way overdid it. Even though I thought it was more fun than the last game, I thought it was also ridiculous. But they didn't listen to the fans, and in this context, that's just a bad thing, because the thing that we're not listening to the fans about was almost universally disliked. And ultimately, they decided to piss off more people with their decision for this game. So they rather do something to the detriment of the game to get points than listen to the fans. But with the Like a Dragon producers, they also admit to not listening to the fans, but it's for completely different reasons. Like, way more valid reasons. And this is an interview from Automaton. I may have heard of them before, but I'm not sure. It sounds familiar, but I don't recall going to their website at all. But this is a really good interview. I recommend reading through it if you're a fan of the Yakuza or Like a Dragon series. Got a lot of good stuff in there, including them saying that it took 6 months to make their newest game, Like a Dragon Gaiden, that's going to release November 9th. So like 9-10 days from now. And it's really interesting to hear their thought processes and how they go about making these games. So I recommend this. But there's one thing that really relates to this discussion about Spider-Man 2 that I thought I'd talk about here. So like midway through the interview, the interviewer says, nowadays feedback and fan art from overseas fans is pouring in. And Yokoyama says, yes, but this is not to say that I am in any way conscious of the overseas market. The staff over at the Sega overseas offices always tell me don't change anything for things like adding foreign characters or foreign stages. They tell me not to do it unless it's absolutely necessary. Just do things the Yokoyama way, as you have been until now, I'm told. A lot of people are warning me not to be influenced in weird ways, and I place a high importance on that too. Then interviewer says, so you yourself are also conscious of not being influenced by the reception overseas. Yokoyama responds, I actually just don't take much influence from others in general, so it's not just the West, but in general. But there's more of an emphasis on the West than there is Japan or anywhere else. Entertainment is all about how you're feeling at the moment, so either you're up for it or you're not. When you eat food, you don't analyze it logically, you're just feeling it spontaneously. I think that the same can be said of customers consuming entertainment. Sakamoto chimes in, whatever I'm told by people overseas, I try not to mind too much, and then he laughed. Though he specifically points out overseas. And then to lend to this conversation, they talk about the unexpected popularity of Sayama, who's a character from Yakuza 2, or Kiwami 2 as well, which is a remake of Yakuza 2, and the popularity of just random words, because people overseas just hear a Japanese word, some Japanese words, and just sticks with them, because it sounds weird or funny, whatever. So they really get into some of the weird things that overseas fans just kind of latch on to. But the reason why this is a good thing for the Like a Dragon creators, and I'm playing through the Yakuza series for the first time, I'm on Yakuza 3 right now, and I really like the series so far. So hearing this is music to my ears, and that's because the series doesn't really have a lot of big issues, or really, I don't know about any, really, that people are complaining about. So there isn't really a reason for them to listen to all that much and get their judgment clouded. And like I said, they talk about what people in the West just kind of latch onto, these weird things, and then weird things that they want, like more fan fiction-y stuff, and they don't say it, but probably more progressive stuff that they don't want to put in the game. They just want to do things their own way. And it's very successful. It's getting more and more successful here in the West as well, just the way it is. There's no need to change it. Now, if there's a big issue somewhere in the game, then yeah, maybe they should change it. But there isn't a whole lot about it that I know of. Again, I'm just getting into it now, so it could be a couple things that I don't know about that I'm missing. But the West is very different from Japan, obviously. Like, the West is far more progressive than Japan, and Japan's much more wacky. I mean, we're very wacky too, but in a different way. In a probably not so appealing way. So to hear this is awesome. And meanwhile, Spider-Man 2 director ignores a very popular criticism of something that's almost universally disliked. And then he makes it even more divisive because he wants brownie points, or they want brownie points. So not listening to the fans can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. And I think these are both sides of the coin here. And it's very interesting to compare and contrast. But let me know what you think about this, and like I said before, I really like Spider-Man 2, and also once I finish the Yakuza series, like Dragon series up to this point, I'll grab the new games as well and play those and see how I like them. Hopefully I do. Haven't been the biggest fan of turn-based combat, and that's what Yakuza Like a Dragon and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, the one after this new one coming out in 9 or 10 days, that's what they are. So hopefully I'm okay with it in that, and people seem to like it, so hopefully I will too. But let me know what you think about all this, and let me know if you've played Spider-Man 2 and like it, and also if you're going to pick up Like a Dragon Gaiden, and what you think about the Yakuza series. But thanks for watching. Leave a like on the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, comment, share, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.